my VSC!
What you're seeing now is the average reaction of many people after beating VSC. It's a mix of excitement and relief, happiness and grief. VSC isn't just the hardest challenge, it's the hardest mental battle to overcome. Some people took 40,000 attempts, some people took over 1 million attempts, some even more than that. With a journey that intense, does their thumbnail truly reflect it? Let's find out. I will also rank this like a tier list, still from worst to best. All right, time to start the list. Out of the 12 thumbnail on this list, only one of them is F tier here, and to no one's surprise, it's El Mero's thumbnail. It's your generic tilted gameplay thumbnail you'd find in Wave Challenge's video with no substance whatsoever. The difference, though, is that VSC is the hardest Wave Challenge in the entire game, and honestly, it deserves a lot more care put into it than a random tilted thumbnail here. All right, let's just move on from this to the D tier. Our first entry on this tier is Nev's thumbnail, which honestly looks like a showcase thumbnail. Except, this is a completion, not a showcase. The background here is way too dark that you might as well use a black background, and it won't look any different. Again, I don't have much to say, as this is easily the lamest thumbnail here, like even lamer than El Mero's thumbnail, so let's just move on. Next on this list, we have Diamond's thumbnail. Even though this is the hardest level for Diamond, I also think this is the most whatever type thumbnail here. There's two waves opposite to each other, slash line in the text, but not much more to say. So yeah, I'm just gonna quickly move on from this to 9th place. Here we have Jonah's thumbnail. This is the most pixelated thumbnail on the list, with the text looking like Pacoe and Denny's 1. Except the color here is way too saturated and blocky. Again, I don't have much to say other than the white wave in the thumbnail will be a recurring theme throughout this ranking. To bump it up a notch, we have C tier with Connex's thumbnail as our first entry. White wave again, bright text again, nearly black background again. But there's a difference. There's a white outline text on top and a parenthesis for real this time, because he used to be known as the VSC hacker. I mean, it's better but still pretty mid really, so let's just move on. Next we have Jackson Amore's thumbnail, which looks almost the same as Nev's thumbnail with one big difference. That's 3D font. No, but seriously, there's also credits to the creators and showing that he always clear, since he has the most attempts on a VSC completion. Nice, but needed more work. Next. For B tier, we have Yossarian's thumbnail for number 6. The wave count have gone up to 3, so that's good. You might notice that the text is multi-layered with the curvy, sexy text, and that's rad. There's also VSC text, as a slight texture in the background, too. Overall, we're getting better with these thumbnail, and people are finally cooking something good. At 5, we have Doggy's thumbnail. I don't know what to tell you, bro. I'm simply just better than y'all fellas, and I'm simply just more well-known than y'all fellas. Get off my deck. Oh, and the glowy pink wave is pretty cool, too. And our last entry for B tier here is Cursed at 4th. There's now 4 waves for maximum overkill with 3 different wave icon all at once. The color on the wave is slightly distorted, which distinguished it from purely just white wave. There's also the very Subbo challenge, as a tiny-looking text on both the top and bottom of the thumbnail, which add just a few more nice touch here. Extremely cool thumbnail nonetheless. Next we have a tier with Paco's thumbnail. Paco's thumbnail have always been very creative and unique, and this is no different. From my perspective, the thumbnail is depicting like a sewage-like place under the city with pipeline-styled text. It looks like the city is burning down as well, making this place even uglier than before. It's almost a painting in the style of a thumbnail, definitely one of my favorites here. With 2, I have Flux's thumbnail. It's definitely his hardest level, and it's shown as his best thumbnail yet. The wave count have gone down to 0. The font is wonky. The line blur is very cool. I don't have more to say. This is just a good thumbnail all around before we move on to S tier. And on this tier, we have only 1 entries being Denny's thumbnail. The pipeline font makes a return again with the Denny's bunny character based on his icon looking more menacing than ever. Out of all the thumbnail on this list, this one looks the smoothest. From the color, the shading, the edges is just all smooth and amazingly polished. So yeah, this is my favorite thumbnail on the list. So what do you think? I uploaded my first video on Discord and some people don't like it. So comment your own ranking below. Subscribe.